Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys Football. Today we are taking a look at Chris Trapasso's 2022 NFL mock draft, just the first round, giving you our kind of thoughts and takes on these different mocks that we've been reviewing the last couple of weeks. And here we got our first wrinkle of the draft. Charles Cross going number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dill, what are you feeling about that? We are Team Charles Cross. I don't know if we are Team Charles Cross that high.
The ROC Boys are for sure Charles Cross pod. I think I don't think it's crazy to make the argument that he is the most pro-ready pass protector in this. And I actually think you're crazy if you think he's not. Certainly the best athlete. He is on the smaller side, but I don't think he's small. He didn't look like he had a problem with power in college, and he obviously is going up against dogs in the SEC. So
I think you saw.
I don't hate this like other people do, I think.
No, I don't either. It's interesting because he has him as his third tack on the board there with the position rank. But Jacksonville Jaguars, what is your main goal here? Not to run the football.
Throw it. Yeah.
You want to protect Trevor Lawrence, and Charles Cross, I think, is the best pass protector. If you want to go run heavy, Ekembe Kwanu might be the number 1 tackle in the draft. If you want to throw the ball, Charles Cross is. And if you're more balanced, you want to get production from the run game and kind of like the best overall prospect, that's probably Evan Neal. Jaguars going to look to go protect Trevor Lawrence, and they go get the best pass protector in the draft. I can't argue with it too much. Aiden Hutchinson, pick 2. I think this makes the most sense. I was in a little argument with one of our commenters. He thinks Kyle Hamilton is the best pick here. From a positional value standpoint, you can go get safeties for cheap in the free agency market. It's not a high value position. You can't pick top edge rushers for that cheap in the free agent market. You get your best guy. Our number 1 prospect on the board, Aiden Hutchinson.
That's how I think about it. I think that when you have a really disruptive edge rusher, that helps your defense more than having an elite safety. That's just kind of how I see it.
And it costs way more to go get a top edge rusher in free agency than it does to go get a solid.
And the reason is the positional value is far higher. And I mean, Aiden Hutchinson's incredible, obviously.
He's the number 1 prospect.
So
the best football player in the country we saw, and I really don't think there's much of an argument. PFF graded him that way. The film shows him that way, and then obviously just fits in that locker room. It seems like a Dan Campbell guy. It makes sense. Derek Stingley goes 3 to the Texans. I'm a fan of the Texans trading out of this pick personally. I think they got a lot of holes to address on this football team. Trade back, maybe even trade Laramie Tunsil, really acquire some picks to go get some young, cheap talent. That being said, Derek Stingley, the best cornerback on the board. What do you think about this pick here?
I kind of agree. It does seem like they're going to be in the mix for a trade. I almost think with a team like the Broncos, who might really want somebody at the top to kind of fit a need they have in win now, sort of. Because I think the Texans are going to waste a lot of some picks, not their careers, but what Stingley's not going to come in and make them win more.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
They're going to be a 3-win team either way. It seems like. The only reason I think they might as well stick in though is because there's no quarterback to take. So that's the one lean. I think Derek Stingley could go top 5 easy. I would never quibble because I think at his best, and I know I've been beating the drum, but at his best, he's the best corner in this draft by far.
Yeah, I think also it's hard to trade out of these picks too because there is no quarterback like you mentioned. So it's the 3rd overall pick when
there's a
really
good
quarterback. Really good quarterbacks on the board is pretty valuable. It's not as valuable when you're trading up for a cornerback. Round 4, Kyle Hamilton. I like that pick. We've been mocking him there a lot. They need help on the secondary. I think Kyle Hamilton is the bluest of blue chips, him and Tyler Linderbaum, although both not at the highest positional value spots.
I think the Jets are picking Stingley or Hamilton, whoever makes
whoever falls. Yep, 100% agree. And then the Giants get probably the steal of draft, Evan Neal. It kind of fits what they want to do. They like to run the ball, but they also just need all-around talent, and you get the buck-end tackles with Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas. Figure out where those guys fit out on the line, but that is a very, very good 2 tackles, and you're addressing pretty much the biggest positional need they have.
This is another team that's taken a Cam Cross or Evan Neal, whoever kind of makes it. Just seems like they're going to be picking one of those 3, probably a Cam is my guess.
And
but
they
I don't
say
know.
Neal's film isn't spectacular. I thought the film was pretty good.
It's
Like, yeah, he
stupid.
has some balance issues, but like, he was pretty dominant like most of his games at Alabama. So I disagree a little
Well,
bit.
that's the I get like I think the film is unreal. I think the question is I think he's like a good athlete in a sense, but in another, he's not like fluid like a Charles Cross, and I don't
No.
even know if he's as fluid as a Cam. So
Yeah.
he's
Cam
huge,
actually
which is
moves really
obvious.
well for his size. He's just still
No,
figuring out
Cam's
his comfort
great.
spot. Yeah.
The problem,
Kenny
I mean,
Pickett.
Evan Neal just with the size, like he is a good athlete for his size, and when you're that big, you pose problems for
Yeah,
guys.
and when you're that big, a lot of those problems get covered up.
Yes.
Kenny Pickett going to 6 to the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, they need a quarterback. Kenny Pickett's not even my quarterback 1. I think he might be the most pro-ready guy, like in terms of like pocket presence, accuracy. That
Yeah.
being said, just like he's very capped. Obviously, the small hands, which I'm not putting too much stock into, but a guy like Malik Willis is a guy who's has the potential to be a franchise quarterback that can lead you deep into the playoffs with those traits. Kenny Pickett, I just don't really see it as much. He's more of a guy like a Mac Jones that you're going to need to get a lot of talent to surround him with to make him a good football player and a successful QB at the next level.
The quarterback is so I just don't see
Yeah.
any that I'd really love in the first round this year. It's just a weird.
Yep.
Yeah, the Panthers need it bad, but it's like just pick a Kemaquanu. You need a tackle too, and Kem's so good. Like, I just think this is like. I get what you're saying, but it's just the quarterback. So you can't justify me a top 10 pick, and I think barely you can justify first round on any of them. So
Garrett Wilson going pick 7 to the Giants. Garrett Wilson's our wide receiver 1, or my wide receiver 1. Chris Olave is your wide receiver 1. He's a freak athlete. Very good at the ball in his hands. Very good at creating separation. And I always say like it's just that it factor with him. I like it. You're addressing that offense side of the ball. That being said, there's a lot of good prospects on the defense side of the ball that are still available. Kayvon Thibodeau being one of them. I feel like I'm going there if I'm the Giants. That being said, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1. They've swung and missed a lot with the wide receivers. Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney. I'm optimistic about Kadarius Toney. So having Wilson, having Toney in that pass catching unit is really exciting. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, it's a fair. They need to hit on a wideout. They haven't. Kadarius Toney played okay at times.
He was injured though. I'm optimistic about it.
I actually think when he was on the field, he was pretty good. So it's I think you have hope with him, but again, I think Garrett Wilson's a very different wideout than Toney, so I don't think it's a bad pick. He's more going to be your alpha dog 1. Tony's more your do a lot with him that use the athleticism, but he's not the premier wideout. I don't think so. I think it's a good pick.
All right, Falcons picking. If Kayvon Thibodeau's not the pick, I'm gonna riot. Kayvon Thibodeau finally off the board. Steal. Very good.
He's
in the
not
run.
falling, but
I'm not very
optimistic. Pick.
I'm not very optimistic of him falling to 8 either. That being said, if it is, you're sprinting that card, and if you're the Falcons, very good in the run game. Obviously, very good pass rusher. Overall, he's number 2 prospect on our big board. Steal. Yep. Not really much else to say.
He might be picking because they'll probably end up with I could see them going Jermaine Johnson. So I think that if you can get Kayvon at Atlanta, that's easy pick.
So the Packers are trading up. Who they trading up for? You think? What are you thinking? Wideout?
No, you can't trade up for a wideout in this draft. I don't.
They do trade them, and it's not even the good, better wideouts. This is greedy. This is really, really greedy. I don't know if you're
what do you really think you're gonna get that much more out of Traylon than Jahan Dotson or Olave? God forbid Olave falls or Jameson. It's like you just got so many good wideouts in the first round.
He says a weapon for Jordan Love.
That's probably true.
It's probably true. I could see this as a last ditch effort to keep him there. Go trade up for a massive wide receiver. Try to convince him to stay.
But he's not going to stay, so
he's gone. This is a bad pick, though. I really don't like this pick.
Yeah,
now the Seahawks or the Jets are taking. Finally, they take Ike Ekwonu. It's a good pick. That offensive line you do not want to mess with. That if they make this pick, I'd be skeptical of what they do with Mekhi Becton. That being said, Farrah Tucker, Becton, Ike Ekwonu. Like that's an absolute steamroller offensive line.
Because you got two guys who I think can play right or left tackle with Becton and Cam. So
yeah, it kind of
I
might
don't know.
start at right tackle. We'll see. Because
I think it's a good. You're getting good value, so it's hard to like
absolutely great pick.
poo it. I mean, if you can get him, like, yeah, he's a great player. So
the Commies, they probably go quarterback, right? If the Panthers start to run on quarterbacks, they go get Malik Willis.
I actually don't hate that. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think
this
he
is
has
another
the
team
biggest
that's
upside.
Close, right? It's a team that's very close. Like the defense didn't have a great year this year, but it has been very good. I think Ron Rivera is a very good coach. So it's like they kind of have the pieces. If they could get a quarterback who can be more of a game breaker, I think so. I'm on board with this pick.
Yeah, and they were so capped with like what they can do on offense. Like they have some serious weapons. Like they go get Curtis Samuel, obviously Terry McLaurin is very good. Antonio Gibson, a lot of people are high on, and you just like the proof of concept that offense can work with some like Taylor Heineke's just capping you so hard with like what you can do. Malik Willis opens up that playbook a little bit more. They said it right. He has the supreme physical gifts, and that's kind of what the draft's about. Is weighing. Is he NFL ready? But does he have the ability to be an elite guy in the NFL?
Well, the thing, like Malik was so good in 2020. Didn't see the ton of. I just don't think he had the year you kind of were hoping he'd have. But again, the talent's there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is a bad pick, and I don't think I'd do it. But I wouldn't like hate on this pick like a madman.
They need to. I would do it. They need to take a swing. Like, what are you gonna have Taylor Heineke again? Like, if you don't get an Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, like you have to take a swing. You cannot trot out Taylor Heineke again. You just can't do it.
Yep.
All right, pick 12 Vikings. Fair. I think they got to go Ed Sheeran with Jermaine Johnson, George Karlaftis on the board. Maybe Sauce Gardner.
That's okay. That's
okay. Yeah. They're losing Patrick Peterson in free agency. I still like Jermaine Johnson here because I think he's going to wind up being a top 10, top 15 for sure prospect for us.
Yeah, but Ahmad's good.
Ahmad's also going to be a top 15 prospect.
That size and that athleticism and the ability to be fairly sticky and break with guys on routes, he's really, really good. So I don't hate this pick either.
Don't hate it one bit. Pick 13, the Browns. It's got to be a wideout, I'm guessing. Olave, maybe? Drake London.
Offensive. People hate on Olave so much. I want to it's crazy. Like they're gonna make me be the Buckeyes' biggest fan, and with Olave, like I'll just have to beat the drum for him.
My opinion on like the wide receivers, I feel like people are falling for a little bit flashier guys. Traylon Burks, Drake London, like the bigger flat, like Traylon Burks' speed and size, like that's flashy, 100%. Drake London, his ability to just moss people, that's flashy and like it looks good. That being said, a guy like Chris Olave, who's just an elite separator with great hands and great straight line speed, like yeah, it's not maybe as like flashy as Drake London and Traylon Burks, but it is overall more effective. You look at the wide receivers who are succeeding at the next level, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, they win because they run clean routes, they get separation, and they have very good hands. I mean, that's what Chris
Olave is going to fly too, by the way.
Oh yeah, his speed is. I think he's going to run faster than Garrett Wilson. And many people don't really realize that. Baltimore.
So I don't know. I'm not a fan of that pick. Straight up.
I only see
I
only see the position rank at 6. They go Roger McCray. That's your guy. Take it away. Take it away. Here's your moment.
This is peak man coverage corner in this draft. I think a guy who was on the team's best wideout generally and followed him around and stood up. He stood up against Bama. I know that Jamison was out for a good chunk of the game because of a targeting call, but I still think he's got the best pure man coverage skills outside of Derek Stingley. So I think, yeah, you might be reaching a little bit, but God, I think he's a really good player. So
I look, he loved this take. McCurry has short arms. That's really the only legitimate knock in his game. That's like so true.
Shut up about the arms, everyone.
Yeah, but like that's like so true. You watch the film, like this dude's a stud. Like he's in the hip pocket of every receiver he's covering. Like you said, he was just sticking with John Mechie, like going toe for toe with him in the biggest game of their season. Extremely impressive. I love to see like a cornerback one follow their wide receiver one all over the field and do what he did. Eagles, I mean, They have a lot of needs. Tyler Linderbaum at center. Jason
Yes,
Kelsey might be out the
I
door.
like it.
Wherever Tyler Linderbaum gets picked, unless it's in like the top 5, like I'm not gonna complain about it. He could go to the Giants late, like 7. I'd be fine with it. Like he's a blue chip guy. He's upgrade. You're immediately upgrading position. Who's touching the ball every play? All right.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Pick 16 from the Colts. Andrew Booth Jr. Like I would go Trent McDuffie here. I think Trent McDuffie had the better film. Andrew Booth has phenomenal ball skills. We all see that the splash plays. I think Trent McDuffie put a little bit better tape out. What are your takes here?
I think you're reaching a little bit for Booth. I don't think he showed consistent enough play. I think like you watch an NC State game, he's given up a fair amount of passes, and so I like he's big. He's probably his strongest corner, I would guess. He looks bigger and more physical than most of them, but he can run. But like a McDuffie was just so locked down. Booth was definitely not. He wasn't like locking it down totally. I think I'm more high on Booth than you because like you do see the potential.
He's got the traits like the ceiling's high for this dude. I just think, my only knock, and I've started when I keep talking Trent McDuffie, like he didn't see like any elite wide receiver quarterback combos. Yeah, and so you didn't see guys. He have to run downfield with.
Not that Booth this year was either that much. Besides like NC State and maybe a bit with Wake, but.
So George Karlaftis continues to slide. This was a guy that we didn't really see outside of top 8. Like he didn't really get past the Falcons at 8 for like a couple months since like the beginning of January. And now I've seen him. This is the third mock that we've done where he's falling outside the top 15. The Chargers go get him. I mean, I don't know if it's like prospect fatigue, what it is. I think George Karlaftis is a solid guy. I think Jermaine Johnson's Senior Bowl might have put him ahead of a couple other people. That being said, Jermaine Johnson wasn't the pick here. He's still on the board.
I think with Karlaftis, I could see you kind of think, well, this guy probably will never be all pro good. I think that's probably the knock is the ceiling's a little lower than for.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Some of the because he doesn't have the pure edge rush ability that certainly the top 2 and probably like an Ojabo have. He just doesn't have that athleticism to project into that guy, but everything else is like really, really good. Film was good. Playing the run was good when he was playing with good effort, which kind of here and there, but
he has like elite power in his hands. And like it's the power that translates to the NFL. Like that power will translate to the NFL. And I kind of like that matchup. Like Joey Bosa, a little bit more bendier of a guy who can win on the outside shoulder of tackles. And then quarterback tries to step in the pocket, and then George Karlaftis is taking the tackle right into the lap of the quarterback. So I don't really hate that like pass rush and duo from like a schematic pass rush standpoint. I think Jermaine Johnson's a better prospect, but it's really close. I'm not going to go to I'm a fan of Jermaine Johnson, but I'm not going to go to war for him over George Karlaftis there.
Yeah, no, Karlaftis good, but I think he just has a lower ceiling.
Matt Corral's a guy, but I'm souring on as I getting into the quarterback film. Like I didn't realize how much this dude just did not drop back and pass. Like it is like only RPOs. There was very little times where he was dropping back, stepping up in the pocket, and throwing the football. That's a problem because that's what the NFL teams like to do, and you have to be able to have that pocket presence, be able to step up and deliver balls. Yeah, he's a good athlete. Yeah, he's got good arm talent.
I don't see the arm talent. Like,
it's not crazy arm talent.
It's not like Malik Willis. Like, he doesn't have the strongest arm I've ever seen, for sure.
Malik Willis is a howitzer.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like his arm talent doesn't scream like, ooh, he's gonna possibly be an elite passer someday.
But he's like accurate at the football as a quick release.
He's like pretty good, but
my problem is you just don't know how it's going to translate to the NFL. Like that, they ran such a different offense from what he's going to be seeing in the NFL. Like you go watch his film. Like they did not drop back and pass like ever, and so that I could see being a little bit of a problem. Eagles at 19, Jermaine Johnson. I was looking for maybe a linebacker there. Who do they get with the first 2 picks? Yeah, they got cornerback, so that's okay. Just gave away the last.
I know you want linebacker for the Eagles, but
I do too. Yeah, but Jermaine Johnson's really good. I mean, if you get him at 19, I'm not complaining.
yeah, I don't think he'll make it here, but it is a good pick here.
Yeah, good
Also,
pick.
to call him the 40th prospect rank is like crazy.
That's just like not updated. I don't know. Like come on. He's
you can't have him outside the top 15. That's just wild. But
Desmond Ritter, the Steelers. I mean,
I love Desmond Ritter. I'm gonna take it away because like I think people, I don't know why they're all hating on him so hard, but big, strong, good arm. It looks like not a great athlete, but good enough.
He's solid.
I don't know why people are so low on him. You watch the Notre Dame game, he's as comfortable as anyone in the pocket for this draft, at least. I think he played a pretty pro style for the most part. I don't know why people are so against Desmond Ritter. I don't love the pick. Again, I think you could very easily argue no quarterback in the first round, but if you want a quarterback, I think it's like you could argue him over Corral or Willis or anyone really in this draft. But
yeah, I Desmond Ritter is a guy that was 3-year starter at Cincinnati. A guy who took on like major responsibilities his last 2 years at Cincinnati without calling protections, calling audibles at the line of scrimmage. So he's like ready to be an NFL quarterback. He's solid. Again, you said it, solid arm talent, big. I think he clocked like 20 miles per hour at a Cincinnati workout once, I read. So he's a very good athlete too. He's probably next up. Again, I'm not gonna like go to bat for any of these quarterbacks. Maybe besides Malik Willis, just because of the traits. But it's a solid pick for the Steelers if you're looking to get a quarterback.
I mean, they probably need him unless they think Haskins is going to step in and
Patriots.
be a guy.
I guarantee you they go Chris Olave here. What's your guess here?
I mean, they should. I don't know that they will.
Devin Lloyd. That's not bad. Devin Lloyd's not bad. I mean, I like Nakobe Dean more.
They're both good.
They're both good.
For sure.
They're both good. They're both top 20 prospects.
And I think the one thing I mean, he's a good blitzer. I think Nakobe Dean is also very good. So
they blitz in different ways, though. Devin Lloyd blitzed off the edge, and Nakobe Dean blitzed off the A gap. It's just like it was a little bit different, but they're both good at it. And like they both racked up the TFLs, and they both racked up sacks. I mean, it's just they were both very disruptive. I just see a little bit more like. I was just knocking people for talking about seeing the flash, but like I just see a little bit more of those splash plays by Nakobe Dean. Just the instincts seem to be really, really high on Nakobe Dean. He's a team leader.
He's much more of a shot out of the cannon guy.
And that just entices
quick.
That being said, Devin Lloyd has the better length. It probably translates better to like dropping back in coverage. So,
they like versatility in their linebackers. They like to put them all around.
That's
and
very
like
true.
in Jamie Collins, where you're playing edge and you're playing everywhere, which maybe you could argue Lloyd is more of that style.
All right, we're moving on to the Raiders. This might be where Chris Olave comes off the board, and it's Kyrie.
Holy no. I like
McDuffie Don yet?
No. But I'm fine with Kyrie on here. I think you could argue I don't think the tape was as good as like a McDuffie, but he was also in a far more difficult situation on a bad defense. But again, another guy who's got like big, smooth, good at like I think you could argue him in the first round. I don't hate this pick. Like
here come the Raiders just reaching for prospects once again.
Mike
Mayock, John Gruden out the door. They're still doing it. And that would be such an example of doing it there, especially because they do have a lot of other things they could fill out. Cardinals, Perrion Winfrey, my guy. I think Perrion Winfrey has the ability to be. He's my number one interior defensive line prospect. Great get off. What they said, impressive first step quickness. He's very powerful, has great length, and uses it. The hands are phenomenal. The Senior Bowl was just disgusting. He was making everybody just look like a little child. You just look at his body. You're like, that's an NFL guy. That's a guy I want playing my NFL football team.
The only thing with him is he's got to be really good with how he plays, like how high he plays, how well he plays. Because he had some very serious issues with getting pushed around.
And I think that's a product of him just trying to get in the backfield too much, brings his pads up, and then just gets kind of washed down.
I mean, he was a JUCO product, so he hasn't been at Oklahoma for forever. And as he gets refined by top tier coaches, you do certainly see the potential to be a really good interior guy.
And at the end of the day, like a guy with 30, I think he's got like 35-inch arms. The athlete he is on the inside, like he's going to make guards and centers look silly from an athletic standpoint, I think.
He plays physical. It's not. I don't say he gets like pushed around because of like
just when he puts his pads up,
trying to be a finesse guy. It's just playing with like kind of not great leverage sometimes, and
because he'll bolt someone right back into the quarterback. Junkyard dog.
No, he's good. I love that pick.
Cowboys going to Nakobe Dean. I like the pick. Leighton Vander Esch. Question marks with him. Jalen Smith gone.
Huge if they could get him or Lloyd. I think.
Then him and Micah Parsons. That would be just an absolute blast to watch. I would love it.
Yep.
We got the Buffalo Bills. Who you got?
I don't see. Oh, trying to think. I mean, I love McDuffie. I think.
Yeah, me too.
At Premier. Don't hate it. I mean, I don't hate it. I'd rather have them. They might as well just take Olave because I'm an Olave guy, obviously, but I don't hate that.
He balances out the offense well. Like if you,
we haven't had a true deep threat with anyone. I mean, John Brown kind of, but he was never a premier guy. I mean, he was just fast.
No, but know what it is? Like Gabe Davis is starting to show that. Like Gabe Davis,
that's fair.
Year.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. He did.
And that was Gabe Davis's coming out of UCF. Like that was his thing. He's not a blazer speed like Jameson Williams, but he's very good in a straight line and tracking balls down on the boundaries. And I mean, Jameson Williams, I would not complain. Fair. I would not complain about Jameson Williams though.
I mean, I probably would because I really want a corner.
Trey McDuffie seems like such a good fit. This makes sense. Like Trevor Penn, I watched this film on Iowa State yesterday for a second time, and I wasn't like that impressed. I think he's got a lot of work to do. That being said, if you're into like nasty offensive tackles, Trevor Penning's probably the guy. Dill, beat him up. Tell him why you don't like him.
No, I'm not I'm not a Penning guy. I'm not a Penning guy. I think it's so concerning to see him not dominating against Iowa State. Like that's when a guy like when Khalil Mack was coming out of Buffalo, the fact that he killed Ohio State was so big for him. And I just think when you're a Trevor Penning, you need to crush it in that game. And I think he had at least one holding. He was giving up pressures. He wasn't bullying guys around.
He seems like a guy who really struggles to like get engaged with the guy. Like he just was like kind of like missing blocks, not really like squaring up guys.
Well, he's a shuffler, you know.
Yeah, if that's a feet problem.
He doesn't kick back square. He shuffles back, which he's a good enough athlete. Well, I don't know. He's like big and strong enough to do that when the guys on like North Dakota State aren't the premier pros. I just think it's just so concerning that he couldn't dominate. And because I know like obviously he is a raw player. That's no question, but you need to dominate in those games when you're playing the big boys, and I just didn't see it.
And he didn't exactly kill it at the Senior Bowl too. I think a lot of people wanted to, and that was like the narrative.
Just wrestling people.
Yeah, I wasn't that impressed from him and what I saw in the Senior Bowl. In the Bucs, Zion Johnson, blue chip interior offensive lineman. I saw him go above Tyler Linderbaum. I don't know why you're taking Zion Johnson is not a better center. Tyler Linderbaum, he's definitely a center too, interior offensive line. I mean, depending on Kenny Green. I mean, Kenny Green hasn't gone yet, has he?
No.
And so this is not, unless you're picking him to play center and you think he's going to be a really good center. I know he took snaps at the Senior Bowl. I might
be taking Kenyon.
Kenny Green's better. I don't even like this path. I think the Bucs without Tom Brady, like they need to start thinking a little bit bigger here.
Get best available kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, he might be the best available, but I think more impact. That's kind of what I meant. Get a player who can impact this football team a little bit more than Zion Johnson will.
Yeah, no, I don't love this pick. I think Kenyon Green on the board. It's tough to.
Tom Brady comes back. Okay, Tom Brady's coming back for you. I get it. Then go get the best guy who can just make your team a little bit better. But
not to dwell on it, but I think Tom Brady very well might come back. But
yeah, I do too. That's fair. That's a different pod. Yeah, I do too. Trey McDuffie falls to the Packers. I think this is a great pick for them. They must have. I don't know how they traded up to go get Traylon Burks, but They kept this pick 2 at 28. Trent McDuffie,
That's
he's
a good point. I didn't even think about that. That doesn't make any sense.
they must have traded. I don't know.
What the next 3 years of first rounders? I don't know.
Anyways, that's a good pick. I don't have you guys know how much I like Trent McDuffie. It's a good pick at 28. Good value. 49er or
yeah. Bernie.
Yes. My only problem with Bernie is that he might need a year or two before he's like a good tackle, and so you need help now. That's like my only knock on him.
I don't know. You think they're totally win now? I think they're winning the next 3 years. Is hopefully they just fired the
this
coach.
Up, Tua is gonna break his spine. You know what I mean? It's just they need to protect him, get him going now. That being said, Bernie Ryman might be better than any offense lineman they have. That offense line is by far.
Who are you gonna pick at tackle?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's
my third candidate.
Very well tackle 3 or 4 for me, not 3.
Bernie Ryman could be the best tackle in this. I mean, Bernie Ryman is really good. He's still filling out that frame at 6'7", 305. The Dolphins and the Bengals, those are teams that seem like they could be a trade up or get a free agent guy because they need help immediately.
They need help so much at offensive line, especially
pick 30.
They're a joke.
Jalen Petrie,
that's your guy, man.
I mean,
I know it's a little hot.
He's my guy in the late second round.
Especially with Dax and Brisker on the board, this is a tough one for me. I don't know if I love it.
And in time, that's probably my take on it. Is Jalen Petrie, and again, I don't know if he brings he's just more of a Jamal Adams guy in my opinion. Putting him around the box and just being super disruptive. The problem with Jamal Adams is there are some serious cons in his game. He's not very good in coverage. And so, yes, he impacts the defense well, but he's also if you lose Tyrann Mathieu, you want more of a reliable coverage safety. And that's probably Dax Hill. That's probably Jaquan Brisker. I think Dax Hill's ability, you guys have heard me talk about him, to play man coverage with guys in the slot is really intriguing. That's why I'm going Dax Hill over Jalen Petrie.
I think the way I see it, they're going to want to replace a Tyrann Mathieu. I think Dax Hill's a decent, very versatile, plays man coverage, does a lot. He's not he didn't show premier free safety because he didn't play in college. Not that I think he could very well be a very good free safety, but I think for to replace the Tyrann Mathieu mold, I think Dax Hill makes far more sense because he's so versatile, plays the run really well, just like how Mathieu plays.
Yeah.
And I just think he's a better athlete, better player. But
Bengals go get Kenyon Green.
Like it.
Yeah, I mean, we have him as the number 1 interior offensive lineman outside of Tyler Linderbaum.
They need it.
Yeah, he can play wherever you need him to. I think we all think he'll be the best. He's going to be best at guard. That being said, showed he can play tackle at a decent level in the SEC. Lions rounding out the.
No, I don't love this.
Yeah, me neither.
I know you like Kyler Gordon a little more than me, but man, I think when you got the 2 safeties who are really good on the board,
just went and got Jeff Okudah a couple years ago. Yeah, I don't
love this.
I'm Dax Hill here. Kyler Gordon's a guy who is freakish traits. I get it. That being said, similar to Trent McDuffie, is he wasn't tested that much. The ball skills showed a little bit to be desired there. Again, he wasn't tested there. So you're going to go in the first round draft, kind of a projection cornerback who didn't show that much battle ready testing versus a guy Dax Hill who played all the big dogs, worked against Ohio State. Whether he looked bad or good is not the point. He's played with high level wide receivers. I don't know. Kyler Gordon, that seems high on him. Especially because there's one other cornerback on the board, I want to say. Maybe not.
I mean, there's been weird bouncing around with the corners a little bit, but
no, maybe they all went. I can't think of it. But it seems we still have a Marcus Jones and Martin Emerson over him. So
I just think that's way up reaching. You could argue he's best corner available at this point because of how many went, but It's
Yeah.
still it's just reaching on the level.
I mean, overall, this was an intriguing mock draft. I'm happy we chose this one. Charles Cross, a little mix it up top. Some bigger names like Kevon Thibodeau falling's interesting, very high on Treylon Burks. This was pretty standard. Roger McCreary, this is higher than we've seen him go. We like it. We're team Roger McCreary. No David Ajabo, which is interesting. I think this.
Although they left a lot of the edges, this wasn't an edge happy
This
draft.
wasn't an edge. Yeah, you're right. It really wasn't. I think George.
There were some interesting picks. I think, like, to say the least. But
yeah, we didn't see a lot of guys who you'll expect to see in the first round. Nonetheless, another interesting draft. We appreciate you guys always rocking with the ROC Boys. We'll be back with some more of our own NFL mock drafts as the draft gets closer. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. Peace, y'all.